This video is going to cover an introduction to polynomials. So we're going to title our notes Intro to Polynomials. And then make sure you put today's date in the top corner of your notes. So the first thing we're going to identify is what is a polynomial. So a polynomial is an algebraic expression composed or made up of the sum of terms containing variables with positive exponents. So a polynomial is an algebraic expression composed of the sum of terms containing variables with positive exponents. So an example of a polynomial would be like 5y to the third power plus 5y squared plus 3y minus 3. So here we have a polynomial. It's an expression where you're adding different things together, or in this case, subtracting. Each term contains variables or letters with exponents. So this would be a term. The term is a thing separated by the plus or minus signs. Here is my exponents, which we learned about when we did the investigation of properties of exponents. And then other words you should be familiar with are coefficient, which is the number in front of the variable, and then variables, which are just the letters. So in this case, the variables are y. So that's a polynomial. All right, so there are some key pieces of information with polynomials. The first thing is standard form. So polynomials are written in a certain format, and the standard form for polynomials is where you write the polynomial, or the values in the polynomial, in order of highest exponent to lowest exponent. So if I gave you a polynomial like the following, in order to write this in the standard form, I have to identify the term that has the highest exponent. So the term with the highest exponent here would be this term. because 4 has the highest exponent. So the standard form would be to rearrange this as negative 2x to the fourth. Then the next highest degree would be, or exponent would be 6x to the third, then 5x, and then no x, or variable term. So that would be standard form. Another way this is referred to is degree. So degree refers to the largest exponent found in the polynomial values. So the degree of this polynomial will be 4 because it's the largest exponent found in all of those terms in that polynomial. And then another term they talk about with polynomials is leading coefficient. Which, after you've listed your polynomial in standard form, the leading coefficient is the leading number with the highest degree. So the coefficient of the term with highest degree or the highest exponent. So the leading coefficient in this problem would be -2 because that is the leading coefficient of the polynomial when you put it in order from least to greatest in terms of the exponents. So that's just how we work with polynomials. You identify the standard form by putting the polynomials in order from least to greatest in terms of degree, which is the exponent value. And then you can identify a leading coefficient based on the first number in front of the term that has the highest exponent. And these are for polynomials that have one variable. So let's look at some examples. If I asked you to write these polynomials in standard form and then identify the leading coefficient and degree, you should be able to do that. Okay, so the directions are going to be write in standard form and identify degree and lead coefficient. So here's our first one. 5a minus 3a squared plus 4a to the fourth minus 11. So we have to write that in standard form and then identify the degree and lead coefficient. So standard form we're going to put an order of highest exponent to lowest exponent. So the highest exponent term is the 4a to the fourth, then minus 3a squared plus 5a minus 11. Be careful of the signs. Since there's a minus sign in front of the 3a squared, I have to keep that minus sign with the 3a squared. The degree of this polynomial is the highest exponent, which is 4. And then the leading coefficient also happens to be 4 because that's the number that's leading the polynomial once you put it in standard form. Okay, let's try 2 more examples, and then you should be able to do these ones without me. So I'm going to give you a polynomial, you rewrite it in standard form, and identify the degree and leading coefficient. So let's say I gave you that polynomial, negative 3x squared plus 15x plus 7x to the fifth minus 4x squared, or 4x cubed plus 12. Standard form. Put the degrees or the exponents in order from least to greatest. So the highest exponent here is 7x to the fifth. Then it's the x to the third. Remember, be careful of the sign in front. Then x squared, then x, and then no variable. Degree is the largest exponent when you have polynomials with one variable. So the degree here is 5, because that's the highest exponent. And the leading coefficient is 7, because that's the term that's in front now when you put it in order in standard form. One last example, and then you guys should be good to go. Let's say I gave you this problem. 5a plus 3a cubed plus 4a to the seventh minus 7. So standard form. Put it in order of highest exponent to lowest exponent. So the 7th, the 4a to the 7th comes first. The degree of that exponent, or that polynomial, is the highest exponent, so it's 7. And the leading coefficient is 4. Because that's, when you put it in order, that's the number that comes first. If there wasn't a number there, you would just write 1. Because the coefficient of a number or a variable that doesn't have a number with it would just be 1. Okay, that's it. That's the intro to polynomials with understanding how to write them in standard form and identify the degree and leading coefficient.